we're going to be talking about how to connect with your higher spirit so that you never feel alone. First up, have you ever felt disconnected or alone in the world? Or do you long for a deeper connection to what I call is oneness or source, something that is greater than yourself? Join me today. We're going to embark on a transformative journey, supporting you in learning how to truly connect with your spirit so that you can feel peace, harmony, alive, and the ultimate, which is joy. All right, so I have been coaching intuition, emotional intelligence, transformational coaching with business owners and leaders for over a decade now. I've created multiple programs, workshops led at companies, at schools like USC. And before we dive into some of the intuition and stuff that I've taught and will be teaching you here today, let's go back to where it all started. Because when I first moved to Los Angeles, I moved to Venice Beach and I was super uncomfortable. The homeless, not being able to park, people walking around on drugs. I was just out of my element coming from Portland, Oregon. Even though I lived downtown Portland, it was downtown Portland from a while ago. Now downtown Portland, different scene. But I digress. So bottom line is I felt extremely uncomfortable. In fact, I remember driving home one day and it was like 1 a.m. I had been at a party or an event or something. And I was driving home and I was so scared that I called up one of my coaches at the time. And I was like, oh my goodness, I am afraid to go home. I don't know where I'm going to be parking. And I might have to walk like a mile because parking was insane in Venice Beach. There were only like 4 spots from the building that I lived in. So I never knew if I was going to get a spot or not. And at that time night, they were probably taken. So I was super nervous. And he's like, Bethany, in this moment right now, is everything okay? And I'm like, yes, yes. So in that moment, it was just that little shift. And this doesn't have to do with intuition, right? But it does because it's a connection to presence. It's a connection to being in the now and being in the now in this moment and being able to look around and see what's happening in my life. I was able to then go, boom, okay. And by the time I got to my place, a spot opened up right across the street. Unheard of. It was amazing. So there was no need to be worrying and freaking out, right? Okay. So in my journey in Venice Beach, we're going to say it all started there for me because when I moved here, I found myself totally surrounded by psychics. And I was like, this is so interesting. I used to have to pay so much money, to go talk to a psychic. And then they're like, no, Bethany, you are psychic. And so it was like them giving me permission allowed me to start owning my powers and my gifts of connecting to oneness. And everyone has this ability. Everyone has the ability. So what happened next is I started diving into books and I read Sonia Choquette's book, Ask Your Guides. And this is a beautiful book. You can check it out. I have, of course, also written a book at this point, Get Aligned Now, which is very much a basic version of intuition. But her book had us connecting to the trees. It had us seeing the spirits of the trees, of the grass, of everything, and starting to step into that knowing that there were spirits everywhere in every living thing, whether they were talking to me or not, like the grass, which I totally can connect to with now and talk to. But that allowed me so much peace because I was so scared sometimes, some nights. And I had a dog and I was walking my dog around and I was like, please, don't make eye contact. I remember my sister, when I visited her in New York, she's like, don't make eye contact with anybody, Bethany, living in that fear. Right. So, and a fear of the unknown, because it was just a new environment for me. I think I've evolved for the most part, but anyways, being able to realize that there was spirit around me at all times. And yes, I believe in God, which I'm going to have to do a whole nother video on, but being able to have that kind of connection that was tangible, I could feel once I knew that it was there. Someone told me, Sonia Chiquette, then I was able to feel and trust that they were there. The spirits were there. And so everyone, all the spirits I'm talking about, had their eye out on me, and I was safe. I was totally safe. Completely changed my whole mentality being a menace. Okay. So wouldn't you like to get to a space of feeling safe with where you're at, whether it's, physical safety, maybe it's financial safety, maybe it's relationship safety, maybe it's mental well-being safety, feeling loved, because all of this is possible through grounding in spirit. When I'm working with business owners, by harnessing their intuition, they are able to make decisions faster without the, stress and overwhelm, and get answers. For me, it's all about getting answers. All right, so let's dive into how can you connect with spirit. You could try walking around like I did and feeling the connection of oneness with the plants, all living things. You can walk into a room, and before you start talking to anyone, just take a moment, pause, be in that presence where everything is beautiful, and take in the energy of a room. Like, oh, does it feel good? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel, like I don't want to be here? Does it feel stuffy? Like, feel into the energetic, like kind of like the elephant in the room. That's a phrase, same type of thing. You're connecting with spirit. All these tactics help you become aware, and you start to notice energy. Like for now, or at this point in my life, I can walk down or even drive a street and I will feel the energy of people as I walk by. Sometimes I feel like I just got stabbed in the back and I'm like, okay, don't know what happened with that person. So I will feel that energy on me physically. And that is something that everyone can do. It's like an exercise. You strengthen, you practice, it's a conscious awareness, and then you can grow the strength of that. Another huge way that I started was I was journaling. I started journaling to my spirit guides. One thing I highly recommend in all my training and downloads that I've gotten is the knowledge of always connecting to God or source or the universe first, because that is the ultimate oneness, and then reaching out to your spirit guides or your higher spirit. And those are two different things. So spirit guides they could be an ancestor, they could be an old friend that has passed. It could be just anyone that you call in to support you. Like some people call it, like I call it my dream team, council. Your higher spirit is a version of you. It is your soul self, because we are infinite beings in a body. So you can connect through connection to God or whatever you want for the oneness, source, truth. And then once you do that, once you feel that presence, and even if you don't feel it, just imagine, see, sense, and feel that you are connected, pretend, play. That's good enough. That's good enough for now. And then you can jump into a journal and start writing and say, I would love to connect with my higher self. I would love to connect with my spirit guides, and start asking questions and seeing what comes through. And you might feel like it's just a stream of consciousness, and that's fine. That's also divine and perfect, because the wisdom is always within anyway. So they're connecting with you and funneling answers through you onto the paper. And I remember I used to doodle in circles. I just doodle until something like hit, and then I would start writing. Now that there's no like doodle time needed. Well, there's not even writing needed, but sometimes it's nice to write, because then I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I just downloaded right now. You can also connect through prayer. So my mom goes to church every single day. I mean it, every single day. And so she wants to go into prayer. I'm like, that's the same thing as me. I'm just call it meditation. And we obviously access things a little bit differently. And so through prayer or meditation, you can ask for the support, connect to the support. And yes, 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 you can receive answers. I know there are so many religious leaders out there that say you cannot hear God, and that drives me nuts because it is so easy. If you believe it is easy, you must believe that you can do this or it won't happen. That's a huge part of it, believing. Okay. Then you can also work on your inner self. So the inner dialogue that's happening. So let's say you have a situation or a challenge that you're facing. You really want the extra support. Because remember, I said this communication with your higher self or your spirit guides are going to support you in feeling peace and harmony. So ask them at the highest level of truth, because truth is like the God. So ask them, and then they can support you in bringing through the guidance that you need. And what I would say is you will become more and more intuitive as you do this, as you find out what that inner dialogue is, as you figure out what your perspectives are, because as you can shift and become aware of what those are, I usually tap into energy healing. That's what I do with my clients. But as we heal that dialogue, those perspectives, any maybe past life trauma or child trauma or something that's happening around you that you realize that you picked up and isn't actually yours, then you become more and more aligned with truth. So you don't have to go through all these other dialogues, and you can just be a nice, clean channel of truth. So when you do all this, the beautiful thing is you realize you are not alone. I feel alone in my life maybe once a year or once every other year. And I know a lot of other people have, they feel alone quite a lot in this world. That is not something I experience. And I feel that it is because of my connection with, my highest self. By the way, she has a name. You can find out the name of your higher self. Just ask, see what comes through. And if you feel like you are making it up, that's okay. You can't do this wrong. I first thought that all the stuff I was making up, but now I have shifted into trusting whatever's coming through and knowing that it is truth, because I have plenty of results with my clients and myself. So there you have it. There's a simple way. You can also, if you want, one more thing I want to say that is really powerful to me. I do it almost every day when I walk my dog. I go and I lean against a tree. I put my back up to the tree, actually, because our back has, our spine, which is stability. And when I lean my back up against the tree, I feel immediately solid. I feel immediately grounded, and I can see, sense, and feel that energetic connection. So I want to offer that up to you, because even people that don't necessarily see, I have brought them to trees and they're like, oh yeah, I feel that. I feel that. So maybe that will be what works the best for you. But play around. Playing is a huge part of this. Definitely reach out. Let me know what worked best for you, or what you have found and discovered works best for you. Obviously, I could probably teach. I have courses on this, so I could teach for the next 5 hours or 10 on this stuff. But just know you are completely connected, and it's up to you to recognize that, to feel it, and to know it. So wishing you complete infinite possibilities, and don't hesitate to subscribe or follow along. There's always offerings below if you want to get into our free monthly healing. That's also available, and we'll talk to you soon.